This is heavy, and yes, I'm part of the problem. Waffle House edition. We're going to talk about Waffle House real quick. So, black people, if Waffle House is an after-hours staple as far as hanging out and partying, I've been in a Waffle House more than once or twice. But if you find yourself in a Waffle House after hours, you've already fucked up. You have no business in a Waffle House eating their awful food. The waffles are good, but you ain't got no business really eating that shit. How the fuck are niggas constantly getting kicked out of Waffle House? What's happening in the interaction between one human being with another human being who's employed at a job? How is that conversation getting to a point where you're being asked to leave over 50-cent silverware? If you find yourself after hours in a Waffle House arguing about 50-cent silverware that you don't want to pay for to eat your shitty food, you are a loser. If you're arguing about Waffle House, if you're arguing with the attendants, if they ask you to leave, if the conversation, see, between a consumer and an employee, a customer and employee, there are levels in a conversation. So this individual completely surpassed the, man, we'll do whatever we can to help you, man. We'll try to assist you, man. I mean, what can we do? Like, how can we, hook you up? How can we take care of you? We surpassed that level to immediately being told to leave. And she wouldn't leave. They're asking you to leave Waffle House, and you won't go. They call the police because you won't leave. In addition to that, like she was trying to bring in alcohol. She had brought some alcohol.
That's why she was getting kicked out.
She brought some alcohol in, and they asked her to not bring alcohol in. So that was an issue. But regardless, you got to the point where they're like, we're gonna call the police. You gotta understand, it's a Waffle House, dog. So you can see, like, Waffle House is glass everywhere. It's glass, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not like solid wall, it's glass. So you can see the police pulling up. And the bitch won't leave. The police come in there. Ma'am, you need to leave. She won't go. Now they're arresting you. And you don't want to give your hand up. You're over here, I ain't doing nothing, You're clearly resisting. And we as black people have turned this bitch into Rosa Parks, asking people to boycott Waffle House because this is a rude black customer who feels entitled to free 50-cent silverware that everybody got to pay for. And she won't leave. And she's rolling around on the ground with her titties out, and you're blaming the cops that her titties out. She knew her titties was out when she wouldn't leave. She's in a Waffle House, almost asshole naked, arguing about 50-cent silverware. This bitch is the bottom of the barrel in terms of humanity. She ain't got no job to go to Monday.
Jesus.
She ain't got no job to go to Monday. How can you have a job to go to Monday if you won't leave when they call the police? Who has the money to get their car out of impound, bail money, lawyer money, because you won't go? If you get asked to leave a shitty Waffle House, fucking leave. If you're not going to leave Waffle House and the police are going to come to arrest you, unless you're going to fight that cop, whoop his ass, take his gun, and start the motherfucking revolution right then, you need to give your arm up and get arrested, dummy. Don't make it no civil rights struggle. Yes, I'm part of the problem. We got Soul Brother number 2, the Hotepper you love to hate. Joey, we need access to resources. Alan, and we got Craig. Here. We got Craig. with the Waffle House people and with dealing with the police in general. Joey, what you got to say, bro?
Listen, here's my thing about the shit, right? Yes. I'm going to go ahead and concede all of that shit that you just said up until the point of where the police get there, right? Let's say everything that happened went down the way that you said. The lady didn't want to leave. She was trying to bring liquor in there. Listen, this is a Waffle House, people, and a lot of drunk people show up at the Waffle House, and Waffle House employees are used to dealing with people who are a little different at that time of night, right? My issue is that when the police showed up, it instantly has to turn into a physical confrontation. There's no conflict resolution there. Look, this lady's not robbing the joint. This was an argument about 50-cent fucking silverware, okay, or plasticware, or whatever you want to call that shit. And it doesn't need to escalate to the point of an arrest. This is about 50 cent. Okay, the lady was being a little crazy, but there's no need to bring this to a point where now she has something on her record. I mean, god damn it, man. Are our police just show up and just bulldoze motherfuckers? Is that what we want from our police force? Shouldn't we, there should be something in there that says, ma'am, listen, how about I take the 50 cent out of my pocket and I'll pay for that silverware, and I'm going to politely ask you, please, let's just go outside of the establishment and talk, right? There needs to be some conflict resolution. Otherwise, what you're going to end up in a scenario is...
You talking about the cops should have done that?
God damn it, man. Yeah, what do we want them to do? Show up and just fucking balls out every time they show up? You want that?
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just asking.
I mean,
that's your point was.
They should have used the nightstick.
That's oh my god.
They should have used the nightstick on.
I know you're being a troll, and I know you're being a dick right now.
So you want to fight for the right for rude black women to be bitches in?
I want to fight for everybody to get equal treatment under the law, and we see way too many scenarios where white people are allowed to go fucking ham in the presence of the law. Yeah. They're allowed to go buck fucking wild and argue a point and walk around with and do all kind of shit in the presence of the law. I'm just simply saying we need officers to practice a little bit more conflict resolution as opposed to every situation turning into a fucking conflict. And I know that's funny. That's funny until your boy's involved in it. That's funny until
he's trying to.
I know, but
that bitch.
But what if one day he's like, hold up, listen, I want to speak my piece. And a cop is trying to deny him speaking his piece. Whatever you feel about that piece, he still has those rights. And
that's
damn
the problem.
Man, it just doesn't need to escalate to
though.
a violent confrontation. It just doesn't. Listen, every situation doesn't need to result. Look, the white lady that called the cops about the black guys.
Yeah.
Now,
they should have tased her.
Think of another. Look, if that other white lady wasn't out there recording. And was able to get in between and be an intermediate between the black people barbecuing and the white lady crying. Did you see that act at the end of that? Oh my God! Oh, they're
right.
Those black guys' lives could have been in jeopardy
100%,
in that moment. We're not allowed. We're not afforded the luxury of that. And that's my goddamn problem. We got to stop drawing these false equivalences between shit and just call it what it is. Every time the police show up and they see black skin, 9 times out of 10, we're getting some violent treatment. We're getting some extra bullshit. We got to stop allowing that shit.
Should she have just left her?
Of course she should have. Damn it. Listen, I conceded his argument all the way to that point. She should have left. She should have fucking left.
Okay, so let me ask you then. So it sounds like your entire you're not.
I'm not defending her.
Well, but I'm saying though, it sounds like your position, and correct me. We're gonna delve into your mind state.
Come on.
Okay.
This hour is all about you.
Sure.
Let's get it.
It sounds like your position and defense in this particular situation is that white people are ruder.
No, that is not my defense. My defense is every time the police show up, it shouldn't be a confrontation.
Well, you want black people to be as rude as white people.
I just want us
to get the white people treatment.
I just want us to be afforded the same rights.
But that's what you want, though, right?
I just want us to be afforded the same rights to look at us as a human being instead of a target.
So is that fair?
As soon as you show up.
So what I just said, is that fair?
No, because I think the way that you're phrasing it is
How am I phrasing
fitting,
it? You
fuckery
well,
that
this
you're
is
trying
when we're talking about equality, man. I'm not having a dishonest conversation with you. I promise.
Okay.
I promise.
Well, I gotta watch you
Promise.
because you got some troll in you.
But this is
you know
about
what I mean?
being honest. I'm going to be 100%. I'm not
Okay,
going to
well,
say
let's
anything
keep
I
it a
don't
buck.
mean.
Let's keep it a buck.
I don't mean.
I do want equality, and I want us to not be seen as a target, as something. Did you see the 65-year-old black woman that was just recently pulled
but
out
I
of
don't
an
talk
Uber?
about her
No,
right
I know.
now.
Listen, I'm just saying that
We can't jump
why
around.
is she not seen
Let's
as
not
a?
jump around, though. We'll
I
get
know,
to
but
her.
in those instances, we're
Sure.
not seen as a human being first.
Well, sure.
That may be going through something, that may have had a bad day. We're not seen as that. We're seen as, how dare you?
See, my only issue with that is that I think a lot more of those instances of leniency happen. They're just not recorded. It's not sexy.
Well, but too many of them are recorded where we're not getting it.
Oh, for sure.
And way too many of them are being recorded where they get it
So I think
beyond
at that
a reasonable
point,
doubt.
I think at that point, then we deal with what should happen after these instances occur. Because, I mean, sometimes it's just like you could have handled
We
it.
have 90% of the DAs in the country are white. What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah, but
They're protecting
but you're presupposing
the
that
majority of white officers.
But hold on, Joey. You're presupposing an outcome based on race without investigating evidence, right? Like that's an issue in terms of getting to the truth.
Presupposing what?
You're
That
presupposing
all these white DAs
are automatically going to be a particular way.
Well, and the
I'll
vast
say-
majority of the shootings that we've seen across the country, where we know for a fucking fact, come on, Philando Castile tells the cop, "Hey, I know,
hold on,
just give me a."
Hold on, let's stop real quick. We're gonna get to Philando
Talking
Castile.
about prosecutable offenses.
We're gonna get to slavery.
But that case was brought before a DA
hold
that
on. We cannot,
did nothing
Joey,
about it.
Joey, we cannot jump around. Let's stay with where we're at. Then we'll move to that.
But that was leading to my point. And
But I'm saying we're still
you'll-
talking about Waffle House and why and how you think.
I know, but
hold on. We're talking about Waffle House and how you think the cops, instead of coming there and doing their job by arresting her when she refused to leave, should have reached in their pocket and gave this bitch 50 cents. We're not going to go past that.
It's about conflict resolution and not seeing everything
The resolution is taking your black ass out of the Waffle House. If you don't want to pay the 50 cents that everybody else pays, that's equality.
So you think that should rise to the level of an assault? You think
an
that should
assault?
rise
Hold
to
on.
the? You think
That's
that
not
should
an
rise to the
assault.
level of?
That's not an assault, sir.
Having this, you
That's
think
not
that
an
should rise
assault.
to that level?
She would not. She could have given.
Just
Hold on.
her
She-
arguing and being upset in that
Hold on.
moment should rise to
Like
the
the-
level of a cop taking her to the ground.
Has to.
And arresting her.
Has
You
to.
think it should rise to that level?
Because she could have given her wrist up like
hold
the
on.
men at Starbucks and let them arrest her and leave. She didn't do that. So when we invoke race and make her Rosa Parks when she's she's a rude customer, she's rude.
You're just saying
What's
it shouldn't.
nuts?
You're saying it shouldn't have been as physical.
Let's-
You saying it shouldn't have been as physical?
No, it doesn't need to rise to a physical altercation.
She won't give her arm up. How's he supposed to get it, man?
It doesn't need to rise to a physical
How's he supposed to get it?
So she should have just sat there the whole time.
Cops show up, and when they see us, we don't get any benefits.
Who's the we? You're not her.
Black people.
But you're not her.
Black folks.
And
But
you
you're
would've
not
handled
her.
yourself.
But black folks.
She's black. So
I know,
what?
But black people in general, people with brown skin, people who don't
Who don't want to leave Waffle House?
I mean, listen, man, I told you I'm not defending her actions all the way up until the point where I feel like the police just went a little bit too far. And there's too many instances of them going just a little bit too far.
What's too far when she won't give her arm up? They didn't punch her. They
You know,
didn't
listen,
kick her.
I guess you have a different view of the way police should handle that situation than I do. I don't think
She
that
had an
should-
opportunity
I don't
to
think that
leave.
should rise to the level of show up and let's.
So how
Let's
do
go.
you arrest somebody that's like who won't give you their arm?
You know, listen, man, I'm a different individual, and I think, you know, a lot of the times it's how we approach situations, right? And if you approach somebody who's already in an altercation and you start getting in their face or you start being combative with them, naturally, this is human nature that they're going to become combative with you.
So you saying
gotta
why won't they
learn
just
how
talk
to
more?
you got to learn how to resolve stuff without going to that point. And people do it all over. Listen,
Well,
man,
that's her job to do. The
whose
police.
job?
That's the black customer who probably has kids
That's her job.
and probably has a job. Hopefully she got. No, she ain't got no job. Not acting like that. But let's say she did, right? So it's on you to communicate to the Waffle House person about the 50 cents without the fucking police getting called.
I'm in full disclosure. I don't know all the particulars of that case.
I do.
And so
Think about all the people in the Waffle House.
Just going off of those, I've seen the video.
Think of all the people in there. Think about the workers that are getting cussed at by this person.
I know. I saw the video. But I just know all across America, those instances play out where we don't get the benefit of the doubt. We more often than not get the cops called on us, and more often than not, when the police show up, you know.
Why would you assume that she shouldn't have had the cops called on her, though?
I don't think he's saying that. I think he's saying that the cops should have talked to her.
I'm not
talk
saying
to her.
Yeah, talk to her.
She wouldn't
leave. People in all kind of situations.
And that's true, but I think
she wouldn't leave.
I know, but there's too many situations.
But by and large, they're not trained to de-escalate. They trained to.
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. They need to get some more fucking training. They need to be trained to de-escalate instead of showing up
use their training.
and taking a woman.
They use their training. She
knew
she was a woman when she went in there talking shit. She knew she was a woman then.
I know,
what am I right? Am I right though?
No,
so why? So I'm bro.
That's where we part. That's just
so
where
because
we part.
now she's a woman now.
No, that's
she
just
was a
where
woman
we
when she
part.
was bringing alcohol in there. She was a woman when she was arguing and hollering and cussing and threatening to shoot people up in there. She was a woman when she seen the police coming and she wouldn't leave.
I don't know.
She was a woman when she refused.
Was she threatening to shoot and kill people?
She was. That's in the report.
Listen, there's a lot of stuff that get put in reports.
So you don't believe that because she's black?
I didn't say.
Joe,
that
you
was,
really
I didn't say
do
that
not
was
trust the
case.
police.
Not
one
minute.
bit.
Not one fucking iota. Listen,
Yeah.
I don't trust the police.
Listen,
I don't trust them.
Listen, even if something happened, I'm hesitant to call them.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what's going to happen when they show up. What if there is an altercation in my house and I do have a gun and I have to do something? Listen, I'm scared to death of that situation. Because I don't know what the fuck they're going to do when they show up and see black skin.
So why wouldn't you listen when they ask you to leave?
Because listen.
If the police, if I get into it with you and somebody's like, cops coming, what I'm going to do?
You're going to cut it out.
No, I'm gone.
He's going to dip.
I'm gone. Whenever the police come, because I understand that man in that position, and I want you to elaborate. I'm going to shut up. I want you to jump in. That man, every time I've been arrested, it's probably like 5 times in my life. Every time I've been arrested, I don't ever get a police no problem. I understand that person, first off, I know I'm wrong.
Right.
That person with that gun on their waist, with that badge, is in the position of power. This is not the place for me to argue my position with him right now. I'm not going to fucking win. So I let him arrest me because I'm wrong, and I'll deal with my lawyer or deal with whatever I got to deal with later. We cannot be holding court in the street, and that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? You say, I'm not doing that, but you won't give your arm up. Now you're getting punched in the face, and you're getting choked out. I'm tired of seeing black folks get their ass whooped. I'm tired of seeing that shit. And it ends up being these young boys that won't shut the fuck up because they're raised to be sassy, because they're raised by single mothers, and they think they can sit up here and bump their gums, and a cop gives a fuck about that. He don't.
Made a bunch of assumptions.
He just jumped all over the place.
You just jumped all over the fucking. I mean, that was one of the. God damn it! I don't even know where the fuck to start with that shit. I mean, listen, there's way too many instances of us actually complying and still getting abused. Did you see the tennis player in New York that was just standing out on a corner and the cops bum rushed him? Blake, I think his last name is Blake, light-skinned brother.
I think I did see that.
And they rushed up on him. He ended up breaking his leg.
Yeah.
He ended up hurting himself. Safa, the basketball player, happened to him. Philando Castile, completely compliant. So I don't buy the fact that if we're just more compliant, just because it happened to you in your situation, doesn't mean that when people are compliant, they still don't get abused. That's not how that works. Just because you've been fortunate enough to not have it happen to you doesn't mean that it's not prevalent all over the United States. That's fucking crazy. Like I understand that you've been fortunate, right? But a lot of people haven't.
Isn't it
and it's not anecdotal evidence. It's way more. It's so far beyond anecdotal evidence.
Sure.
it's overwhelming evidence that even when we are compliant, we still get abused. The issue isn't with us. We can't look. That's like telling women, hey, dress different and you might not get raped. There's nothing they can do to prevent rape. If a guy's gonna rape, he's gonna rape.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do to prevent racism. Period.
Right.
If people are gonna use and I'm tired of people thinking racism is the equivalent of a white boy calling me nigga in public and getting away with the shit.
Yeah.
That is not how racism works.
Right.
Racism is so subversive, it's so deep within our culture that it goes to biases. And listen, there's been studies done all across the United States and police departments all over the United States. When they see black kids, there's inherent biases that go along with seeing these black kids, and you just expressed a whole bunch of them. Okay, and so if you have these fucking biases, imagine what guys with guns that have these biases that maybe have grown up in households that don't have a favorable view of black people. Like, God damn it, man, this goes so much deeper than just saying black folks need to act better. Because look, during the 60s, 70s, and 80s and shit, we acted very nice.
Thank you, sir.
We all but begged. We have all but begged white America to like
so
us.
for a second, though,
Listen,
let's not go back to the 60s. Hold on.
we don't have to. We're gonna deal with
So
right today,
isn't it-
and we're
isn't
still
it-
marching and protesting.
Right, so-
We still haven't taken up arms. We
Right.
still haven't fought back.
Right. So isn't it, and I'm not
I'm
discounting.
sorry for yelling too.
No, you're good, bro. It's fine. You
Be
go ahead and get
passionate.
it
Yeah,
out.
just go off a little bit.
So it's passionate. It's fine. I want you to get it out.
Put that on your highlight reel.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's very important though. A lot of what you say when you bring up Philando Castile, when you bring up we can mention Eric Garner, Tamir Rice didn't have an option to apply.
Sean
to
Bell.
comply. There are. See, here's the important part. Excuse me. Here's the important part. This poor table.
Yeah.
Is that we have to know, because police brutality is real. We have to know what is police brutality and what is not police brutality. And every time there's a black person in a crazy altercation with the police, we file it under police brutality, which makes this whole thing non-productive, right? We've made that Waffle House situation equivalent to the black grandmother that got snatched out of that car, and it ain't.
Because we've allowed them to
Hold
pigeonhole
on.
us with this race card shit.
Hold on real quick. But those two aren't the same.
But we've allowed
Hold
that.
on. But those two aren't the same thing. But reasoning, when it comes to us talking about reasoning and racism and police brutality, you're not talking to people that don't accept police brutality is real and don't want to fucking stop it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not talking to people that are like, oh, black people need to just pull their pants up and they won't get snatched. No. You're not talking to them type of people. You're talking, at least with me, a guy that's tired of seeing things that aren't the same called the same, and it makes momentum dissipate. It makes energy dissipate because we're calling that police brutality. That cop was doing everything he could not to hurt her. If it was me or you, what you think would have happened?
I don't think he was doing everything he could not.
Because he could have beat the shit out of her.
Oh, because that's
hold
always
on.
better than them shooting us.
Hold on. No.
Because that's where we're at.
But he didn't do it. But he didn't do that.
Please beat us
Hold
up.
on. This
Just
is
don't
this
kill
is-
us.
Hold on. This is the way
Just
you
beat us up, but
you
just
have
don't
to-
kill us.
point.
You have to put on your glasses so you can see both ends, man, and so you can determine what's racism and what's not. If you're telling me that's the same as Philando Castile, Philando Castile, a guy who didn't do anything, is the same as this bitch.
Shot in the car with his wife and his daughter in
So-
the back, or his girl and his daughter in the back. No,
These aren't the same.
Here's how they are linked. Because and follow me for a second.
Sure.
Because it's about the psychology of people who see us as a problem as opposed to being a human, and it manifests itself in all kind of different
She
ways.
was being
a problem.
Listen,
She was being a problem to everybody in the Waffle House.
Listen, it manifests itself in all kind of different ways. It manifests itself in.
So she's a victim of racism.
I'm not saying. Listen, Josh.
What does that have to do with racism?
I'm not trying to make her Rosa Parks.
What does that have to do with racism?
Hold on. Hear me. I agree with you that she should have left the fucking store. It's a terrible place. Black people, can we stop
What's
eating
that
at
to do
this
with racism,
motherfucker, please? It has to do with inherent biases.
How is there a bias being exercised there?
That because it's a subconscious thing. It doesn't. It does. Listen, these aren't things.
So you know-
hold on.
you know their
Hold on.
intent.
These aren't things that when you see it, you think.
So those cops were using bias
and you say
by arresting her?
Boom.
Hold on.
Boom.
I want to delve into how you're thinking. So those cops exercise bias in arresting her
I think in the speed,
when she was refusing.
I think in the speed at which they're willing to use physical force towards us in regards to an arrest, because I've seen way too many situations of white people going fucking ham,
But these
and never
cops-
getting. And I know, but just hear me out, and never being touched. And listen, when we're talking about cops, we're talking about cops all across the United States. And all across, you can go to every motherfucking city in the United States, and all of them have a problem with police brutality. All of them have a problem with
Fair
race
enough.
relations.
But these
but
cops-
why is that though?
Hold on, fair enough.
Can, but can,
But
can,
hold
but
on.
can,
But
can will
hold
you
on,
answer
we
this
can
for
talk
me?
about that,
I
but
know,
we're not gonna jump to that.
but
No,
it
no, no,
deals
no.
with
We're not
what
jumping to
went
that, Joe.
on in that Waffle
Hold on,
House.
guys, hold
But
on.
it
But
deals
that's-
with what
no.
went on in that Waffle
No, it
House.
doesn't.
It's because
Explain
there's
to me.
inherent biases throughout all
Hey.
police departments. When they
We-
see black
we gotta
folks, we're
stop.
instantly seen as, let's get
Okay,
it.
so that's why I'm
Let's
trying
get to it.
to get into how you're looking at it, man. And I'm not telling you that you should change your mind any different, but I'm saying we're making too many jumps, right? So how do we tie racial bias from those police officers in that situation who are getting a lady out who's refusing and resisting? How are they using racial bias in their intent that you don't even fucking know them? Is that not a racial mistake on your end? Isn't it kind of racist? That you're
Absolutely
assuming because
fucking not,
Oh,
because
oh,
I have evidence of at least 100 years of policing that we can go back to where
But we're
this
not
has been the
talking about
case.
that.
We're
We're
talking about the
this.
training that they receive. We're talking about how they're educated in those police
Joe,
departments.
you keep deflecting.
No,
We're talking
I'm
about this.
telling you
Okay,
that's how
are
these things occur.
brother, how are these cops using bias in doing their jobs? The Waffle House called them there because she would not leave. When they show up, she will not leave. They had to physically restrain her to get her to leave. How is that racial at all?
How can you can never get in the minds of people and determine what
So
they're
why would
thinking?
you
Hold
say
on,
it?
hold on. Let me finish. You can never get in the minds of people and determine 100%
Right.
what they're thinking in a particular
Right.
situation unless they express it, right? But if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a
So
duck,
how's it
to me,
walking
it's
like a duck?
To me, like I said, I just
You see a white cop arresting a black woman,
and
so
I see
it's
too,
necessarily racist.
I see too many situations where they're willing to get physical with us, and in other situations they're not. And if that makes me racist, well, fuck you.
hold
Guess
on.
what?
So I
I'll
just
be
happened.
that
Hold on.
bitch.
So I just happened to see this
but
video. I
that's
just happened to
just-
see this video we talking about, and I had mixed emotions about it because
It does. It gives you mixed emotions.
not
about it.
mixed emotions about what happened, because after figuring out what happened, like, get the fuck out.
She should have
Like,
left. We all agree.
And if I'm a police officer, all I have to deal with is the facts. And the facts are that I got called to this place. You are not complying with my orders, so I got to get you the fuck out of here. That's basically what a police officer is going to do in that situation with the information that they know. Why I have mixed emotions about it has little to do with that. It's basically I had to stop watching videos like this because it took me to a place where I was unable to say this black person was wrong, and I just kept saying fuck the police.
I said she was wrong.
No,
mean,
but
we
I mean,
agree
like,
that she's wrong.
and so this is where I'm seeing Josh's argument too. It's like the longer we can say that we can take this incident and make it a larger conversation about racism in America means that every instance is diluted. The more we
real-
argue about
And can
it.
I touch on
Real
that? Can I
things.
touch on that real quick? Because I think this has been a brilliant strategy of racists in America, of reversing it, right? And using this race card thing that they love to do and pigeonholing us into not even talking about how deep and how saturated racism is in the core of America and who the fuck we are. And like I said, this isn't a problem that's a down south problem. This isn't a problem where slavery was at down south. New York cops are fucking some of the most, like, god damn it. And there's empirical data about this
Yeah.
shit. Listen, the kid that was just shot in Sacramento in his grandparents' backyard, he was never given time to comply.
Right.
Never, not one.
Running
They
away.
just showed up and shot his ass off.
But
Like, this is
what are you
all
saying
over the
about them
United States.
reversing it,
So
though?
there is okay, so if this is a problem that we can all agree that is all over the United States, please tell me why that is.
We know why it is, because motherfuckers are racist.
Yeah, because there's racist.
Then,
and there's
goddamn
bias.
it, then okay, so then
But
you
who
can't.
denied
But
that?
that's not the point,
Okay,
though.
denied
so
that?
but
The point is diluting.
Sky's blue, water's wet. What's up, baby? What else we got?
The
We know that.
So then we have to deal with that. We have to deal with
But
the
we
fact
do.
that our police departments, not only our police departments,
Yeah.
but our DAs are overwhelmingly white.
And they're overworked.
And listen,
When they're black, it don't matter.
I listen. At
Like
90%,
in Baltimore, it don't matter.
Look. I know, but when you walk into a courtroom and you have a 12-man jury and you're supposed to be judged by a jury of your peers, and they got 12 old white
Yeah.
people on that jury,
Yeah.
what would you think about your black
100%.
ass? You would think
Sure.
I'm in fucking
Yeah, you going
trouble.
to jail.
I'm going to jail,
is it-
son,
is it-
because there are inherent biases that are in America that we have
That's
never
true,
dealt
but
with.
like- but
because as black people, we were happy with the fact, hey, we're not getting publicly lynched. We're not getting
No,
look.
Joe.
We're having a chance to prosper, so we'll put up with all the subversive shit that go. We'll put up with getting kicked out of Dillard's at all. We'll put up with getting followed through stores. We'll put up with all this
But
shit.
the other side of that is that we got a
because we've been able
responsibility,
to
though.
prosper a little bit.
Here's the thing, man.
And we don't even want to deal with it
You're
because
making-
we're playing a race card.
No, it's not about playing. It's like you don't understand, like the bigger picture is really what it is, and it's not like talking
And
down.
what
to
would
you.
be that bigger
It's not. It's
picture
not
that
talking
they have?
down to you at all, man. Because you can probably enlighten me on a bunch of shit. You know, I like your point of view. It's not. It's not a point of view that I'm not familiar with and that I don't share in a lot of different ways. What I'm saying is that the bigger picture is you allow it, like Craig said, is that it watered down. Watered down to the real shit, like the real things that we're really talking about. No one's saying that the criminal justice system isn't biased.
Right.
We know it is.
Right.
No one's saying that that we're treated the same in the criminal justice system. We know that we're not.
Right.
And there's evidence that shows that we're not. But the problem is that our arguments are whack. They're whack because of this type of shit.
But nobody's saying that she wasn't wrong. God damn it,
Yeah,
she was
it's-
wrong.
hey, when did
She
you say
was
she-
wrong.
No,
she was wrong.
But Joe, listen, it's
She
the
was wrong.
fact. It's the
I'm not
fact that
saying
we
that
conflate this issue into a bigger issue with everything
it's
else
not.
that actually is a problem.
We cannot do
because
that.
I think it's part of a symptom that goes on all across our country and all of our police
You don't see how that's
departments.
negative?
It's
A situation that's not racial at all. It's obvious that this person was wrong.
Because again,
You're
that's
making
where,
it racial.
But that's where I think because we haven't really in this country, we just swept it under the rug.
What?
Hold on, hold on.
So what he's saying,
Hold on.
what I
And so
hear, what I
because-
hear you saying, bro, is that after all of the turmoil that we've gone through, of course we're going to get emotional about everything.
That's stupid.
No, that's not
That's
what
what
I'm
I
saying.
heard.
That's
We
not
dumb
what I'm
black
saying.
folk.
What I'm saying is because racism is so prevalent in so many aspects of our lives and so many areas and
That
so
a white
many-
cop can't
and
arrest
so-
you if you're fucking up.
No, absolutely not. Oh, definitely a white cop.
He
can
need to
arrest
give you
if you're
50
fucking
cent.
up. No,
But why-
absolutely
but why-
not.
but why are we so emotional,
I'm just saying that
about everything?
that I don't think that they should roll up with violence, Tamir Rice or John Crawford, and
Of
every
course.
situation.
But she's
of
not
that.
Tamir
she's not in
Rice.
this category.
I'm not
Can
saying.
you separate the two? Do you
I'm not saying
understand
she
that black
is.
people ain't
I'm
all
not
the
saying.
same?
I'm not saying she is. And I did say that she was wrong.
But
I did say that
can
she
we
should
say that that's not racial as
And I
well?
did say that she should have left.
Can we say that's not
and
racial?
And I did say that she should have left.
So how's it racial?
But there's but there's tens of thousands of people.
I can't 100% say that was racial. What I'm saying is that police all across America often show up with violence directed towards us, and it's prudent for us to question it. Let's take a look at that cop's record. Does he have any reports
Any
against him?
history
Would that
of-
be fair to
Sure.
inquire
Why not?
about? Right?
Why not?
It'd be fair
He
to
didn't do nothing
because
wrong.
okay, look, I know, but the cop that shot Tamir Rice,
Yeah.
he had been fired from a previous
Oh, yeah,
police
he had
department,
issues.
and they issued reports like this guy should never be a cop again.
Several of them
And he was able
instances.
to go to another police force and get a goddamn job. And so it's fair for us to ask questions. I can't 100%
Agreed.
say, and I don't know that, man, and I'm not trying to say that's the case, but I'm saying, man, I see that too much. And it's fair for me to ask these motherfucking questions because I see it way too fucking much. It's too prevalent. And we need to start asking questions. Why is this shit going on? Yeah, she may not be the same as Tamir Rice, and we're not putting her on no fucking pedestal. And she should have got her black ass out of that store
She sure
when they
should.
asked her to leave. Matter of fact, baby, you shouldn't have been there in the first place. That food sucks. and it's dirty, and
With your
it's
ass
cooked
out.
by some of the nastiest motherfuckers you've ever seen. They're parolees. They're fucking.
What's
like,
wrong with parolees,
I know,
bro?
I
What's wrong with
shouldn't-
parolees cooking?
I shouldn't.
You
I
got a
know, I
problem with
shouldn't,
parolees
but
cooking?
fuck them nasty, dirty motherfuckers in there cooking your
Waffles.
food. Listen, real shit. If you seen those people.